Hello friends, I am Amelia from US Post. Entire world is finding it difficult to digest what next is coming from President Trump. Their governments and factories are facing uncertainty and have a lot to work upon in the coming days. I am sure this all mess going to change the world in a big way. Many friends and enemies will change in the coming days, months and years. I am sharing some big news from the Great Britain. Hope this gives you some idea what other countries are facing due to US decision. If you are new to our channel, please support us by subscribing our channel. Also hit bell icon for the notifications of new videos. Please share your opinion in the comments box. We value your opinion and try to answer all the questions. Now, let's dive into the news.
Royal correspondent Rhiannon Mills filed this report and a warning it does contain flash photography.
A scrum is the only way to describe it. Entourage, security, locals, all crammed into the square in Ravenna, and in the middle of it, a man who's still having cancer treatment. A king who can't or won't stop, according to palace sources.
Queen Camilla! Queen Camilla! Happy anniversary! Happy anniversary!
And confirmed by his wife, Camilla. Talking to British press at this school in Rome, she said, "He loves his work and it keeps him going. And I think it's wonderful, you know. If you've been ill and you're recovering, you're getting better. And now he wants to do more and more and more. That's the problem. That's what he's driven by, helping others."
Very much, grazie, grazie.
Away from the chaos, he certainly seemed on good form. His cancer journey also being followed here, including by these women who travelled to London for his coronation.
We find that he's doing very well also in this condition. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And yesterday with the voice in Italian is very emotional for us.
Yeah, the speech in the Parliament.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
His Italian was
Perfect.
very good.
It's a big gift.
Yes, very good. Very
Yeah.
good. Comments and pictures that will no doubt raise a smile for the UK government. The tour all about resetting and reaffirming our relationship with a key European partner. But a more complex meeting with another president lies ahead, with rumours that sometime this summer he could meet Donald Trump in Scotland. The palace will only guide that we will see more inward and outward state visits this year. One thing that is guaranteed when he does meet Trump, Number 10 will be hoping for more of what we've seen this week. This feels like a world away compared to a year ago, when, of course, the king, who's in there somewhere, had to step away from public duties because of his cancer diagnosis. Of course, the fact in recent weeks that he has suffered some side effects from that treatment has been a real reminder to all of us that he is still going through that treatment and under doctor's orders. Not that you would really see any signs of that over the last few days. The palace insists that doctors are happy with his current workload and that his treatment is going tremendously well, at a time when the government certainly needs him on top form, with an American president still to charm.
This march was planned to put pressure on the government to act. Now they have. There's hope.
Relief, I guess, and it's relief for all these guys. I'm six generations of my family worked in the steelworks, so it's finally time that everybody out in the outside world is seeing what we all see in this town, and it's the heart of the town.
So you see everyone here today. It's a nice sense of community that's not normally around. So it's nice to see people brought together by it.
We have lots of family members within our family who work for British Steel and have done for many years. So yeah, definitely feeling uplifted to have some good news today.
They've been making steel in Scunthorpe for 135 years. 3,500 jobs depend on this plant staying open. Many want the government to go even further.
Yes, nationalisation will have a cost. The government have committed over £2.5 billion to transitioning the steel industry to a green steel industry, but the cost of not doing it is even greater. I mean, turning this site back to a brownfield site for development would cost over £1 billion alone, not to mention the social economic impact of not having these jobs here.
This town is built on iron ore. It's under the feet of the many generations of people who worked at the steelworks, and they say that without the plans, they see no future for Scunthorpe. What would it do to the town?
There wouldn't be a town. There'd be nothing left. The stewards would be gone, all the father figures of the family and the community, their jobs would be gone.
I really hope that things start coming out of the dark and brightening up, and so we don't have to be like anxious or like worried anymore.
The local football team, known as the Iron, is playing its part in lifting spirits.
It works in partnership. You know, we nearly went out of business as a football club. The steelworks came together, we all worked together. It's one big community. You know, without the steelworks, you wouldn't have a community.
In further solidarity, steelworkers and their families were invited onto the pitch at half-time, knowing that the fight to save their jobs is far from over.
I was excited because it was a new place, but of course I did not realise that this was going to be my new home.
This is how Sammy remembers his arrival in the UK. Fleeing political persecution with his family, he was just 10 years old. Now, aged 21, the physical risk to his life is behind him, but mentally it was a different story.
When I started sixth form, my mental health really took a dive, primarily because I did not know what the next steps were. I was here for a decade and that did not qualify me to have the right to work just because I was a dependent under someone else's claim, and I think that was one of the biggest reasons I ended up in A&E struggling with my own mental health and suicide ideation, was because of the challenges I was facing because of being in the system.
So you've got your refugee status through.
With the help of a leading UK charity, he's now able to work, the thoughts to end his life behind him. But for many like him who come through this kitchen, that's not the case.
The current system for processing refugees and asylum seekers is consistently undermining and damaging asylum seekers' mental health and leading to increased risk of suicide. The government refuses to even track the number of refugees and asylum seekers dying by suicide.
What are you calling on the government to do about this?
We would like the government to make sure that when there is a suspected death by suicide, the migration status is noted.
The call comes after asylum applications reached the highest yearly figure since records began. More than 108,000 people applied for asylum in the UK last year. That's up 18% from over 91,800 people in 2023. Responding, a Home Office spokesperson said, "We take the welfare of those in our care very seriously. We certainly have no intention of creating a fast-track process so that people who come to the UK outside the established work visa rules are simply allowed to ignore them."
In our new report over here...
For Sammy, there's finally an end to an application process 10 years in the making. But warnings remain about how a system designed to ensure people's safety is making some feel anything but.
It can bring people together, help others to unwind, and provide the opportunity for celebrations. But new research suggests even low-level drinking of alcohol can have a big impact on your body. Alcohol Change UK found that moderate drinkers have 4% higher rates of cardiovascular disease than non-drinkers and 3% higher rates of cancer. They were also more likely to complain of poor sleep and dental health. The NHS recommends that people shouldn't drink more than 14 units of alcohol a week. That's 6 pints of an average strength beer or 10 small glasses of a lower strength wine. But scientists say it's the way people consume those units which can make a real difference to their health.
The reality is if you drink sensibly, you're unlikely to come to major harms. But if you take your 14 units in 2 or 3 big pulses, then you're going to come to more harm. So it's more nuanced than that. And I think what we need to do is teach people how to drink sensibly.
Campaigners are calling for clearer packaging on alcohol so that the public are more informed.
For alcohol labelling, even just a few steps in the right direction would be a big start. We as consumers, we as citizens, I think, deserve to have the ingredients, to have nutritional information and to have clear information on the risks so that we can make the choice. And at the moment, we just don't have that.
But would warnings on labels make a difference to drinkers?
Every now and then, it's quite nice to enjoy a drink and not worry about it. And I think sometimes you put too many warnings, then you're just like
constantly telling people that everything is bad for them, I think is also dangerous.
With the younger generations who might not understand the kind of effect of alcohol, and as you get older you have friends generally who suffer from, you know, alcohol addictions and other problems around that, and when you're young you don't see that and you don't know that. So yeah, I think for the younger generation that's no bad thing.
I don't think it would really make a difference. I think people know what they're doing when they drink. It's a calculated risk, I think, for most people. It's people aren't going in there having a pint to be healthy. They're like going in there to have fun and hang out with friends.
The risks of moderate drinking may not be enough to put some people off their pints, but those with a thirst for change say greater action is needed.